We've made it, UFC fans. The 6 weeks have come to an end, and UFC 324 takes place this Saturday. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Huge fight, big title implications. We see Ilia Topuria return maybe later this year, and I figure I go ahead and get my predictions done for this card. It's been a minute since I've done predictions, so I had to do a bit of research on these fighters because my mind wasn't refreshed. But we're going to go ahead and start with the early prelim openers and work our way up to the main card. We're going to start with Adam Fugit versus Ty Miller. Now, I'm familiar with Adam Fugit. I've watched a few of his fights, and while he's looked decent in moments, I think he's been finished quite a few times. I want to say he's 10-5. And Ty Miller, this could be his UFC debut, judging on the gloves, probably a contender series guy. 6-0, that just looks really good with the 10-5 from Adam Fugit. I don't really like that momentum going into this. It seems like he can't really hang when, the going gets tough. Sure, he's got power in his hands and he's well-rounded. But Ty Miller, I'm going to trust the young up-and-comer. They're pretty even on stats. I'm going to take Ty Miller by decision, probably 30-27, 29-28. Maybe the lights will be too bright for him being his UFC debut and not just contender series. But Adam Fugit has not looked great. He's coming off of a loss. We'll see what happens. We move on to the next fight. Ricky Turcos. Is it Turcios or Turcos versus Cameron Smotherman? This is tough because both of these guys, they're coming off of losses, but they're both good in their own way. Cameron Smotherman, he's got decent hands. He comes forward. He's got heavy output. They're both pretty similar. Turcos doesn't have a lot of power behind his hands, but he's just a marauder. He keeps running forward. He'll take damage. I saw it against, I don't want to say Joshua Van, but one of his recent fights. He just kept going forward. I got scared he would beat the guy, but no, he put him away. Turcios has got pressure versus Smotherman. I just don't know, man. How's the grappling on this? Really no offensive takedowns from Smotherman. I think Turcos is going to push him up against Cades. I'll probably take Turcos in a 30-27, 29, not 29-28. Maybe Smotherman has a good actually, Turkey. We're just going to take Turcos by decision, 29-28 if I had to bet. Who knows? We move on to heavyweight bout. These big boys. Josh Hokett versus Denzel Freeman. This is a good one. Josh Hokett had his UFC debut. Did in America, WWE promo style. That was good. Denzel Freeman coming off a KO win in the UFC. I think he fought around the same time as Hokett, if not on the same card. When it comes to both these gentlemen, though, I think Freeman went to a lazy decision and Hokett got the finish. And yeah, momentum, takedowns. Yeah, I'm taking Hokett, dude. I'm taking Hokett probably round 2. KO, I could see Freeman just using big man strength to kind of stay alive, keep himself going in the first round, maybe surviving any ground and pound or grappling sequences. But when I think round 2 comes around, Hokett's still going to be, putting that pepper on him, and Freeman might collapse to the pressure. I think Hokett's going to win probably round 2. KO TKO is my bet. We move on to Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. This is another one where it's does Unk still got it? Because Michael Johnson, he could lose to Ronda Rousey, but he could KO Khabib. You never really know with him. He has been put out quite a few times. Both these guys coming off wins. I want to say Hernandez got a finish. I can't remember over who that I thought he would lose that fight. Hernandez is decent, man. Outside of that Cowboy Cerrone clip that went viral on YouTube back when, he's still pretty good, and so is Johnson. And Johnson's got the striking, and Hernandez does, struggle with really good strikers, but when he gets his grappling going, dude, he's good. This is do you trust, an established guy who's just pretty good, or do you trust the vet that, you never really know? They're really even. There's no odds makers on these matchups. Striking, finishing, grappling. It's all very, very even. But I think in just momentum, Michael Johnson's getting old, dude. I'm going to take Alexander Hernandez. Both these guys are pretty durable, though, unless Johnson gets chinned out cold. They're both very durable. They can take, knockdowns and ground and pound and get back up and keep fighting. We're going to go with Alexander Hernandez by decision. Probably 29-28, maybe a robbery, people will say. But I think Hernandez wins it. We move on to I didn't mean to press on him. Jesus. We move on to Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. Now, this is a good one. I'm taking Charles Johnson before I even get into my predictions. That is my prediction, but before I even explain it. Momentum. Alex Perez coming off a loss. Charles Johnson coming off the win. He also has a former win over Joshua Van, which was legitimate. He put him out with a nasty uppercut when Joshua Van was getting tired and, pressured. Both these guys, obviously, great striking. Johnson, even though he looks like he has a lot less grappling, his grappling is good. I think he has the Olympics tattooed on his back. The dude was very good at what he does. He's very good at what he does. And I think he's probably going to win this using his grappling. He could chin Alex Perez. I don't know how chinny Alex Perez is. He is coming off that loss, so mentally he's going to be a bit probably timid in there, not really want to go for anything big. He's 25-10. He's taken quite a few losses. Charles ain't no saint, but We're gonna take Charles Johnson by like I want to like realistically I want to say KO, but when you look at flyweight, a lot of it goes to a decision. So I want to say KO, but I'm gonna go with the decision. So if he gets the KO, I'll be like, well, I kind of felt a way about it, but I'm gonna just do some pick insurance. Y'all can hate on that. I don't care. We move on to the prelims. Those were the early prelims. Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. I don't think it's wrong to say that Modestas Bukauskas gets this done. Nikita Krylov, I want to say his last fight was Dominic Reyes, and he got chinned out cold bad. Nikita Krylov back in the day was a good fighter, but he had to go fight on the front lines of Ukraine. Took some time off his career. Hasn't looked great in his return fights. And Modestas Bukauskas coming off a win. I think it was a nasty KO. And even if, Krylov tries to go for the grappling, Modestas Bukauskas has good defense. He's got, his off his back submission. I don't really think he's going to go for his own thing. Maybe some cage work. But I'm going to take Modestas Bukauskas. Sorry. Probably round 1 KO, dude. I mean, Krylov was so chinny in that Reyes fight. I understand Reyes has power, but, to get put out as cold as Krylov did in that fight, I mean, Bukauskas, young, explosive, tall, same height as him, so he's not going to have, any physicality issues. I'm taking Modestas Bukauskas round 1 KO. Let me know what you think. We move on to, bro, just go ahead and give me Gautier. I don't care if Pulayev's good. Just give me Gautier. They've been laying him up. Fights where he's just killing people, killing weak, frail guys. And I'm sure Pulayev's pretty good in his own right. He's coming off a win. He's right up there with the size of Gautier, but just the powerhouse that is Gautier. I think he's going to land that big shot unless Pulayev just pulls out some classic Dagestani wrestling over 3 rounds, which I know nothing about him, so I'm not going to make that bet. We're taking Ateba Gautier, probably round 1, round 2 KO. Maybe Pulayev grapples to survive in round 1, but it gets him a bit tired, and Gautier just starts to put that momentum on him. We'll see. But yeah, round 2, round 1, KO by Gautier. I don't think anyone is going to predict any different on that. We'll go ahead and move on to the final fight on the prelims. This one was huge. I don't know why they didn't move this up to the main card when Harrison pulled out. They moved the female fight, but it is what it is. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Now, this is a really good fight. There's a lot of implications here. If Umar wins this, they're probably going to give him a title shot. And I guess you kind of have to because Figgy's off a win, so it's not like his momentum's all the way gone. And he had a win before this. Yeah, I'm going to take Umar Nurmagomedov. I don't know if he'll get the finish over Deiveson Figueiredo, but over 3 rounds, I think he's too fast on the feet, and he's too quick on the ground. Figgy's decent in his own right, but we saw against Corey Sandhagen, and he didn't really look mentally like he wanted to be there. He also was playing around with leg locks, which in MMA, unless you really go for it, in the moment, like a Walter Walker or Usmar Palhalis, if you're trying to sit comfortably and play legs, you're going to get ground and pounded. You're going to get countered. He got his knee popped by Corey Sandhagen in that fight. I don't see Umar Nurmagomedov having any weaknesses that Figueiredo can exploit to a finish. Maybe he gets some of his own grappling off and strikes him, maybe knocks him down. But I still think Umar is going to dominate over 3 rounds, 30-27 for Umar. I just don't see a finisher. I think Figueiredo is skilled enough to stay alive. We'll move on to the first card of the main The first fight of the main card. Sorry, it is 7 in the morning when I'm recording this. Just getting it out of the way. Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. Gene Silva's got to let that hairline go, bro. This is painful because I'm a huge Arnold Allen fan. He's been out for quite a bit of time. He had some surgery. He had that tough, controversial loss to Movsar Evloev. Arnold hasn't had the best run of things, and he hasn't been in there for a minute, so I worry about his ring rust. And he's a good fighter, but Gene Silva's something else, man. For him to almost put out Lopez in round 2 with that momentum of the spinning elbows, and definitely after that loss, when he probably learned from that loss to not be so overzealous, to not emote as much, to not make yourself so predictable. I really hope that he's gonna come into this fight a lot more, controlled. If he comes in just as stupid as he did in the Lopez fight, please shin him, Allen. But I assume no fighter's gonna keep that same mindset, especially the big 2026 with as developed as UFC is and MMA in general. So I think Gene's definitely tweaked a lot of things. Definitely kind of reinvented himself, pulled himself back from that, fuck it, we ball persona. And he's going to be a lot more calculated here with his strikes. He's going to find it. Allen's no guy to joke with, so Silva's not going to take his time. I think he's going to realize that I got to put it on this guy. I mean, Allen's also coming off that win. So he's got momentum. I'm sure he's confident. Unless Allen is just y'all must have forgot performance, which I'm totally wishing he does. I just think Gene Silva's looked too good on his way up. And with how close that Lopez loss was, and I'm sure he's motivated to get that back, I think we're going to see a finish here. Sorry, I was like yawning and stretching at the same time. I think we're gonna see a round 2, round 3 TKO finish, maybe even a sub from Gene Silva. It kind of hurts because I'm a huge Arnold Allen fan. I don't really like Gene Silva, but we're gonna go with Gene Silva round 2, round 3 KO TKO in my opinion. Tragic. We move on to what got moved up the card instead of Umar versus Figgy. We got Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Now, Rose Namajunas, established former champion, little boy look-alike, Pat Barry pedophilia. I'm sorry. I was trying to like make a joke with that and I realized I just said it straight up. Rose Namajunas, former champion, good striking, great grappling, head kicked Wei Lee, didn't lose the rematch. Anyway, she's an established champion. That's what I'm trying to say here. She's a very established champion. She's, got experience. Surprisingly, Natalia Silva has more. But I think this is kind of where the young outdoes the old, where Natalia Silva is a slick kickboxer. She makes a lot of noises when she throws kicks, which the judges always love. It's an ego stroker. And she has good grappling as well as counter grappling, which Rose isn't known for her offensiveness. But when she needs it, she has it in her back pocket. So I think this is going to be 3 rounds of just Natalia Silva outstriking Rose Namajunas from range with speed. And any grappling that Namajunas tries to get off, I think Silva can counter it or stall it out to kind of not matter on the scorecards. So yeah, I'm taking Natalia Silva 30-27, maybe 29-28. Boring WMMA decision. That's really all I got to say. We move on. This will be one of the fights of the night. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. This is going to be absolute cinema. Waldo Cortez Acosta trying to get his 5th fight in just a little over a year. He's coming off that KO win over Ante Delija after the eye poke. Derek Lewis coming off of, I believe, a KO win over Taliesin Teixeira. He looked good there, but Derek Lewis is getting old and he takes damage and he doesn't, hold up well in those moments. A few years ago, we saw Derek Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa, and while they were both agreeing to stand and bang, which I don't think Lewis is going to do in this matchup, he was a bit chinny. He got put out with a clean elbow. Most people would, but like at heavyweight, I think you should be able to eat 1 or 2 of those. And Acosta's not going to play that game of letting you land those shots. I really think Acosta is going to be moving a lot, which Derek Lewis doesn't move too much. Lewis is explosive, but I don't know if he's going to find that shot on Acosta. It'd be hilarious if he did because Acosta's been kind of cocky, but Acosta's fast. He's got power. He's salsa boy. Dominica, I know black. He's probably going to back Lewis up against the cage and TKO him, in all honesty. Not even TKO him, probably KO him. Like Lewis will fall like a tree like he did against Tuivasa. I'm not too sure, but it kind of sucks because you want Lewis to get the KO. You think he's going to get the KO. Balls was hot performance, but Acosta's looked good, man. He's a heavyweight with power and he's fast. And he has a chin. He took some really big shots off of Ante Delija and only technically got finished because he went down to the eye poke. So, dude's got a chin. Dude's going to stay in there, and I just don't think Derek Lewis has that durability anymore. So, I'm probably going to take Waldo Cortez Acosta round 2, round 3. KO up against the cage where Lewis is kind of feeling the moment, and then Acosta maybe 1-2 or just an overhand right that connects. Who knows? That's my pick. It is a bit heartbreaking, I'll be honest. I want to see Lewis win, but we'll go ahead and move on to the co-main of the evening. They moved this fight to the co-main. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. If I'm not mistaken, this is going to be a 5-round fight, which kind of changes how I feel about this. Song Yadong is a very good fighter. He's a very good up-and-comer. He's established. He's lost to guys like Corey Sandhagen. That was kind of weird because it was the cut, but he's beat guys. He's lost to Jan, though. I think O'Malley's going to get it done. No, Song Yadong, very good, very strong, stocky guy, boxer, gets on the inside, has a lot of power in his hands, put out, I want to say, Giga Chikadze. Sean O'Malley, obviously coming off the loss to Marab, got choked out in that one. He hasn't fought in so long, dude. But O'Malley's still the champion. Obviously, if he loses this, he's probably done with the UFC and MMA altogether. I don't really think he can hang anymore. He probably had his time, and he'll just try to make a career off of what he's done. But I just don't know if Song Yadong can beat O'Malley. O'Malley, sure, he's like a clown when you look at him, like of a champion in terms of just his performance and how he acts. But like people forget that he's really good, and he was really good on the come up. And he's got a lot of power, and he's got a lot of good fight IQ. He's got good striking, and he only got out, ragdolled because it's fucking Marab. So I'm not gonna give too much weight to that. And I'm gonna take Sean O'Malley probably by decision, unless he lands a pull counter on Yadong. Yadong's not shady in any mean, and nor is O'Malley. So I don't see either gentleman getting like a nasty KO in this. If they do, that'd be so hype. But I could probably see O'Malley over 5 rounds, beating Yadong, like beating Song, using grappling when he needs to, but probably just using that range. He's 5'11", he's got 5 inches more on the reach of Song Yadong, so he could probably get him with the jab from range, float on the outside. Like I'm gonna trust O'Malley to get this with a decision over 5 rounds, and maybe they'll give him a title shot. I could definitely see them doing, O'Malley Yan 2, and just jumping Marab, which I think is bullshit, but they're probably going to do it for the hype of O'Malley because he's still got a little bit left in the tank. But I'm going to take O'Malley, 5-round decision. This is a weird fight. I really don't know how to feel about it. It's two explosive, fun strikers going at it, which usually doesn't always result in a crazy finish. But again, O'Malley, decision. We move on to the main event of the evening. I'm not even going to try a Scouse accent because I'm an American and it's very hard to even do that, like an English accent. So I'm not going to make y'all like depressed with me trying. But Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. Now, this is an amazing fight. Obviously, it's a bit weird with the context of the fight. It's clearly an interim title fight, which people didn't think he deserved. They think Arman should be in there, but Arman's been a bad human when it comes to being a UFC fighter, so womp womp, wait in line. This is going to be a fun fight. This is going to be fun. Gaethje's going to be shooting, big overhand rights. He hangs around in the pocket. He kind of leans a lot. Pimblett floaty, but also keeps his chin up. We don't know what's going to happen. People are saying Pimblett's going to get chinned. I personally think that Pimblett is probably going to volume TKO or submit Justin Gaethje. Truly, I've been watching the fights back. I mean, Justin Gaethje in his most recent win against Rafael Fiziev in round 1 got put in a reverse triangle by Rafael Fiziev, which Fiziev isn't going to finish that, but Pimblett will find how to finish that. He's a jiu-jitsu guy at his base. He got a nasty, triangle armbar for Bobby Green, put him out cold, and also kind of fucked up his elbow. So Pimblett's got that jiu-jitsu in his back pocket, but he's also got a chin, and Justin hasn't put anyone out in quite a few years at this point. Like, truly, his last big one, which it wasn't even a KO, was Tony Ferguson. That's how long. It's been, 6 years since that happened? In the big 2026, people are talking about Justin Gaethje knocking people out cold. Methink's not. He's got power. He knocked down Fiziev, but Pimblett's got a chin, and Pimblett's also got good recovery. So any adversity I think Pimblett faces, he faces it well and comes back. And I just think Justin Gaethje over 5 rounds, he's going to tire, and Pimblett will probably put it on him. He takes damage really easily. He's also a bit weird, a bit like squirrely in the grappling. He doesn't really have any like offense of his own. He prefers to just kind of stay standing. And I think Pimblett's going to want to get it to the ground, want to get it with a submission. I could see him getting Gaethje with maybe a rear naked, maybe that triangle. Yeah, we're going to take Pimblett round 3, round 4 submission, if I had to say. If Gaethje wins this, that'll be really good. They're probably going to do Gaethje versus Arman. If Paddy wins this, they're probably going to do Paddy versus Ilya for the unification, just because there's a storyline there. So yeah, those are my 324 picks. If you agree or disagree, let me know. Drop a comment down below. Let me know your picks. If y'all enjoyed my video, like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out my video that just dropped on Dana White. Yeah, don't bet too much money on this card because a lot of these fights are unpredictable, but best of luck. See ya.